So now let's go back to the amp model. This is pretty close to the Liverpool. I don't have these on because I had, as you can see, I have the Liverpool on here. And I turn this off when I turn this amp model on. So let's go into the amp model. There's the top boost. There's the drive. You want that drive up as much as you can to get some grit. Got the bass. Notice I got the bass down. I got the mids up. And I got the treble up really high to 7. But notice, I know that sounds high, but I do not have the bright knob on. Notice when I hit enter, it'll say bright, the bright switch. That's almost the AC30 model top boost bright channel modeled into the circuit, I think. But I don't like it, it's too bright. So I turn it off and I turn the treble up. So I'm using the basic top boost model, and then I adjusted these accordingly. There we go. Okay. So again, top boost 4.8, 315, mid is at 685, treble. Now page 2, presence. That gives it some brightness. I have that up. Depth. I usually use depth, damp, and sag all at 4. I don't notice huge differences in the tone in these parameters. Sag being the power amp. I think these are all power amp. I'm not 100% sure. Master way up, 8.9. And with the master way up and with your drive up this high at 4.8, I'm on page 1 again, page 2. With the master way up, you need to bring your levels way down because you'll have clipping. So I like the tone with the master up and the drive up. You get a little better grit tone, and then I put the level down. The advanced settings, very important. Let's go through these. The warmth and the thump can be 0. They don't make too much of a difference. I just have them at 1. This is important. The low cut frequency. As I go through these, I'm going to tell you which ones make a huge difference in tone, and you should play with these. You should, on your XFX, you should move these back and forth all the way left, all the way right, and you'll find out which ones have a big effect on the tone. But based on some of Edge's clips, like it might get loud, I had to bring the cut way up here to take some of the lows off of it. The XFX definitely can bring through a lot of lows. So 790 there, on the high 8,000. The bright cap I got at 199, almost 200 nanofarads. Tone stack, I leave that at passive. This is really important to the Liverpool anyway. You should play with this parameter. It goes from 200 to 2,000 hertz. I had it up at 500 or 600 and it was a little bit muddy. As soon as I brought it down to 200, 320, it's really clear, really nice, wonderful, deep mids. And it sounds much more like the Liverpool. So that's a key parameter right there. Presence frequency, 310, I found that's about right. I played around with that one. Power tube bias, very important. Don't go too low on this. You want to not go up to 1,000, not up to 1, but you don't want to be down in the low end of the range. The power tube bias definitely has a nice effect on the edge tone. B capacitance, I leave that alone. The transformer LF and HF have a less of effect on the signal. You can play around with those. They're not as, they don't have as much of a sensitive effect as the low and high cut on up here. The low cut frequency and the high cut up here at the top. These on the transformer LF HF do a little bit less, so I keep them right there, 210,000. LF resonance, these things actually affect the tone quite a bit. Your highs and just like your presence knob and like some of your other frequency settings up top. This is like the presence and the tone control. This just gives a little different coloring to the treble. So you want to play around with LF and HF resonance. Those are the most important on this page are the HF LF resonance, the the power tube bias, the tone stack frequency, the bright cap. This definitely is another way to change the brightness of your amp model, and then the low cut frequency here and high cut. Those are the most important parameters that you need to play around with to get the tone that you like. Mix. This is tied to the other page, the level, because we don't want to clip. And there's the amp model for the Liverpool. At least that's the settings that are closest to the Liverpool that I could get. The cab that I use with this, I now use a stereo cab with some air 29.5, so air frequency 2010. And I use the blue, and the R121 condenser really brings out the mids very nicely. I like that model now. I use the 2x12 Brit in the right side with the same R121 condenser mic. The link here is off because I have two different sides, left and right. So I get those two different tones coming through. Okay, and then I do just a little bit of panning, and I got the drive here at 3. I give it a little grit. And that's it. Those are the settings for bad.